pages of every national newspaper for weeks on end. Some of them were paranoid about the effect it could have on their lives. When this was all over, they just wanted to return to normality, out of reach of the press, out of reach of the public, out of reach of each other. They took a vote at the time. 9 voted for the use of juror numbers, 3 against. So they went with it. All except Brian. He opted to scribble his real name on his sticker badge. It sparked a succession of tuts around the table when he first stuck it to his chest, but his flaunting of the first rule the jurors made inside this room was never mentioned again. Nobody wanted to give Brian the satisfaction of having to explain himself. He would have liked to have shared his reasoning, though. His take on it was that he didn't have anonymity anyway. He assumed everyone in the room already knew who he was. They didn't. Far from it. Before this trial started, only number 8 recognized Brian Hoare. Brian is a long way away from being as important as he thinks he is. By the time he was 24, Brian made waves within the Labour Party, running for the party's leadership, having shown drive and ambition when helping his hometown of Ongar pull through the financial crisis unscathed. 17 separate businesses opened in his small constituency through the crash over a 3-year period. Most in Ongar knew he was just a jammy bastard, though. He happened to be in the right place at the right time. The plans for the majority of those businesses were in place well before Brian was elected as local TD. But Brian wasn't backward in claiming credit for the successes, gloating about his achievements in the national press at any given opportunity. The positive PR didn't go unnoticed by the bigwigs in the Dáil, and suddenly Brian was climbing the ranks of the Labour Party. Though that didn't mean he wasn't deluded when he ran the leadership race in 2011. He never stood a chance. After 6 weeks of bluffing to the press, he eventually fell out of contention. He's been back in Ongar ever since, half hated, half adored by his constituency, and becoming more and more frustrated in his attempts to be re-elected as the local representative. He easily could have been excused from jury duty as of right, being a former politician, but he relishes the prospect of judging too much to pass on such an opportunity. Brian's self-delusion was highlighted to his fellow jurors within the first 20 minutes of meeting them. He challenged number 1 for the position of head juror as soon as they entered this room. In a secret ballot for the position, number 1 thrashed Brian 11-1. Everyone shifted awkwardly in their fake leather chairs when it became apparent that Brian was the only person around the table to vote for himself. As soon as all jurors have taken their seats around the table, Brian is the first to pipe up.
I propose we conduct an early verdict vote just to— Excuse me,
says number 5, cutting Brian's sentence in half.
You're not the head juror. Let number 1 do the talking.
Brian rubs at where his chin should be, then motions towards number 1 to get the ball rolling. The trial ended just over 10 minutes ago, the judge's closing statement ringing fresh in their ears, yet they still hadn't begun deliberations. Ticking a box on the lunch order and finding a seat in the jury room took a hell of a lot longer than was necessary. "Okay, everybody, this has been a long, drawn-out 5 weeks," says number 1 after clearing his throat. "And it all boils down to our discussion in this room. The fate of those 3 men lies in our hands."
"And hers,"
snaps number 5. "Yes, and Sabrina's too," says number 1, swinging his jaw. "I was just about to say that, thank you. I've been thinking of the best way for us to approach these deliberations from the get-go, and it's my opinion that we should go through the whole night in chronological order. We should start our discussions about what we think happened just gone 7 o'clock, when they all first met each other. Then we can continue through to the end of the night, until the incident is believed to have taken place somewhere between midnight and midnight. We need to do an early vote," Brian calls out, disrupting number 1's flow. "What do we need a vote for?" number 1 asks, his brow furrowing. The rest of the jury begin to mumble, number 10 doing nothing to disguise her annoyance by holding her 2 palms over her face.